In this video we're going to be taking a look at anchoring using a running moor. It's one of the three main types of moor, with the others being the standing moor and the open moor. It's used when you need plenty of scope in your anchor cable, but there might not be the space to swing around when the tide turns. For example, maybe you're in a deep water pool in a tidal area or something. The pool's quite big, but if you've got 5 shackles out on deck, there's just not going to be enough room to swing around your cable. So, how do you do a running moor? Well, it starts the same as all the others. You need to get a lay of the land. You want to identify your anchoring position, the direction of the tide and the wind, and the amount of scope you're going to want on your main cable. Assume you're going to be anchoring to a single anchor and just work out the scope that you need on that one cable. Once you know all that, you're going to make an approach to your anchoring position from down tide at slow speed, so we're talking no more than a couple of knots. When you're about the length of the final cable away from your desired position, you want to let go your windward or weather anchor. Keep your engine running ahead. You want to keep moving. You want to keep running. This is why it's called a running moor. And just pay out the cable on that weather anchor as you go. Don't let it snatch tight, because all it will do is spin your bow around and you'll just lose control and mess everything up and have to start again. You want to keep running forwards until you've paid out twice the final scope on that weather cable. Allow yourself to come to a stop, either check your headway using that weather anchor that you've already got out, or run your engines astern a little bit just to take that last bit of way off. Then you're going to start moving backwards. It could be just the weight in the cable, or the tide might start pushing you backwards. As soon as you start moving, let go the other anchor, so the leeward one. Allow yourself to just drift astern using the weather or even your engines, and just keep paying out that second cable until you've got it up at the desired scope. As soon as you're there, hold on to both anchors and make fast. In theory, you'll now sit on that second anchor. It's going to be your riding anchor or cable, the other one being the sleeping cable. The idea is that when the tide turns, it's going to reduce in strength and you'll start to sit to the weather instead. That's going to turn your bow a little bit until the tide picks up in the other direction, at which point the sleeping cable is going to become your riding cable. The next time it turns, again it's going to slacken down, and again you're going to sit to the weather, turning you back the way you originally came. The tide will gradually pick up in the original direction, and you're going to sit on that same anchor cable again. When it comes to picking up your anchors, it's relatively simple. All you do is whichever one you're riding on, you just pay that out until you're right above your sleeping anchor, at which point you can just recover that one quite easily. Then you're just sitting on a single anchor, and you can recover that in the same way you would if you'd anchored anywhere else, just using a single anchor. With a running moor, there are a couple of things you need to watch out for. The main thing is make sure you drop your weather anchor first, so that when you sit to the weather between the tides, your cables don't cross. You're almost on an open moor then. In a similar vein, be extra careful if the weather changes direction after you've set your anchors. It could mean you swing the other way round, it could mean you end up doing a full 360 and you just get your cables twisted. If the weather changes, consider using your engines to control the turn when the tide changes, instead of just using the weather to swing you around. And that is the running moor. It's quite easy to remember because you drop your anchors as you're running ahead until your final position. Hopefully you found this video useful and it's helped you to see a little better how to do a running moor. As always, if you have found it useful, consider giving it a like. If you'd like to see whenever I post new content, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. I try and post weekly, but there are no guarantees, so subscribing and having notifications on is the best way to stay up to date. If there are any other topics you'd like me to cover, just leave a comment below any of my videos. I do try and read them all, but I get quite a lot across my channels. For anything urgent, the best way is to pop across to the Casual Navigation community on Patreon, where you'll be able to message me directly. Until next time, thank you for watching, and goodbye.